During my college years, and later as the National Youth Director for a Lutheran organization, I traveled with and led gospel teams across North America and in South America and Europe. We often used light-hearted songs to break the ice with young people. Two of these songs always brought smiles. I'm My Own Grandpa and Noah Found Grace in the Eyes of the Lord, and He Landed High and Dry. I was encouraged to recite the words of those songs recently during a Minnehaha Academy Class of 1961 Zoom reunion. Later, my friend Sara asked if I would produce this little video for her daughter, Karna. So Sara and Dan, and Karna and Drew, this one's for you.
So Gary, I am wondering if you have a poem for us.
Oh boy.
Is Sandy here?
I think we lost Sandy. Sandy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm up here.
Oh, there you are.
Here.
The reason I mentioned Sandy is because this is really, I should defer to her in about what I'm about to do, because it was from a fellow named Phil Warman, and that I learned this song. And I mentioned this when we were doing our planning session, that the background for this is that I spent a number of years out of college leading singing groups, not singing groups, we got gospel teams. The reason I say that I didn't lead the singing groups was because they used to call me the voice of one who should be crying in the wilderness, or the voice of Firestone with a blowout. But what happened was that we would go into towns and we'd be there for 3 or 4 days. And by the time we were finished in a town, we'd have some really good relationships with the kids. But then we would need to go on to the next town and we'd have to start all over again. It was, breaking the ice time and time and time again. And so we found that there were some little songs that really helped. And one of them was, and actually two of them, but one of them was a song that I learned from Sandy's husband, Phil. And it was a song called I'm My Own Grandpa. I'm not going to try to sing it for you, but it went something like this. Many, many years ago, when I was 23, got married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter with the hair of red. My father fell in love with her and soon the pair were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and changed my married life. My daughter is my mother because she is my father's wife. To complicate the matters, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. This little baby then became a brother-in-law to dad and thus became my uncle, though it makes me very sad. For if he is my uncle, then he also is the brother of the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course is my stepmother. My father's wife then had a son who kept her on the run and thus became my brother because he is my father's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, and that makes me blue, for now, although she is my wife, she is my grandmother too. Now, if my wife is my grandmother, then I'm my own grandchild. And every time I think of it, it nearly drives me wild, for now I have become the strangest case you ever saw. As husband to my grandmother, I am my own grandpa.
And he did that from memory.
Yeah.
Gary, I believe you have one more poem that you would like to share with us.
Yay, Noah.
Hey, Noah.
Gary.
Well, once again, I have to suggest that Sandy would do a better job on this than I, because she heard it many, many more times than I did. But with one of the, during that gospel team period of my life and the time that we were going into new communities and trying to establish relationships with kids, we did a song. I had again, I didn't sing it, I spoke it, but it was with a nice backup group. But it was one, Sandy, if you'll remember, called Noah Found Grace in the Eyes of the Lord. And it went something like this.
Yep.
Well, the Lord looked down from his window in the sky, said, I created man, but I don't remember why. Nothing but fighting since creation day. Think I'll send a little water and wash them all away. The Lord came down just to walk around a spell, and there was Mr. Noah behaving mighty well. And that is the reason why scripture records that Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. The Lord said, Noah, there's going to be a flood. There's going to be some water and probably some mud. So take off your hat, Noah, take off your coat, get Ham and Shem and Japheth and build yourself a boat. Noah said, Lord, I don't believe I could. The Lord said, Noah, get some sturdy gopher wood. You never know what you can do until you try. Build 50 cubits high and 30 cubits wide. Let's see. Noah said, there she is, Lord. The Lord said, Noah, hurry up and get aboard. Take every creature, a he and a she, and of course, Mrs. Noah and the whole family. Noah said, Lord, it's getting mighty dark. The Lord said, Noah, get those creatures in the ark. Noah said, Lord, it's beginning to pour. The Lord said, Noah, get aboard. I'll shut the door. The ark rose up on the bosom of the deep. And after 40 days, a number of days,
40.
after 40 days, Mr. Noah took a peek. He said, we aren't moving, Lord. Where are we at? The Lord said, you're sitting right on Mount Ararat. Noah said, Lord, it's getting mighty dry. The Lord said, Noah, see my rainbow in the sky? Now take all those creatures and people the earth, and don't be more trouble than you're worth. That was it.
Bravo.
You got a screensaver?
I have a question, Nicole.
Sandy, how many times have you heard that?
Oh, that brings back lots of memories. It really does. I can hear the guitar. I can hear the guitar playing.
But had you been sitting in an audience in 1969, it would have sounded more like this. This from a recording made that summer with the backup provided by one of my groups, the Coruscation Singers.
Since creation day, think I'll send a little water and wash them all away. The Lord came down just to walk around a spell, and there was Mr. Noah behaving mighty well, and that is the reason why Scripture records that Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and he landed high and dry. Well, the Lord said, Noah, there's going to be a flood. There's going to be some water and probably some mud, so take off your hat, Noah, take off your coat, get Ham and Shem and Japheth, and build yourself a boat. Noah said, Lord, I don't believe I could. The Lord said, Noah, get some sturdy gopher wood. You never know what you can do until you try. Build it 50 cubits high and 30 cubits wide. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and he landed high and dry. Noah said, there she is, Lord. The Lord said, Noah, hurry up and get aboard. Take of every creature, a he and a she, and of course Mrs. Noah and the whole family. Noah said, Lord, it's getting mighty dark. The Lord said, Noah, get those creatures in the ark. Noah said, Lord, it's beginning to pour. The Lord said, Noah, get aboard, I'll shut the door. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and he landed high and dry. Well, the ark rose up on the bosom of the deep, and after 40 days, Mr. Noah took a peek. He said, we aren't moving, Lord, where are we at? And the Lord said, you're sitting right on Mount Ararat. Noah said, Lord, it's getting mighty dry. The Lord said, Noah, see my rainbow in the sky?